Briefly, some of you I know are familiar with some of our prior videos or even familiar with the way Elliot wave analysis works. Now, this software is showing the combined Elliot wave and Gann analysis together. Typically, the general school of thought until recently is that the Elliot wave is primarily a 5-wave pattern. In other words, a number 1 thrust wave, a 2 retrace, a 3 thrust, a 4 retrace, and then a 5 wave. When it comes to intraday trading, though, or shorter term trading, we've found obviously that there can be 6 to 11 waves continuing after that. It doesn't happen very often. Generally, the wave 5 is the most common wave setup, but we're going to show the proper ways to trade the wave 5 setup. And that is, I want to identify the first wave 5 signal that would have occurred. It would have been right here. Sometimes it'll hit it right on the mark and retrace. Other times it's going to go through the cyan band that's drawn. Every time, for the most part, that a wave 5 formation occurs on a perfect Gann-Elliot combination, the software will trigger an entry. In this case, if the wave is moving up, it's going to be a short trade. And it also produces what's called the cyan band. Now, this band is only 4 ticks, but what's important about the band is that as we move throughout the day trading session, as traders trade, the intraday moves are affected by a lot of different factors. Some of it is news, some of it's reports, others could be program trading that kicks in. And the trader needs to take advantage of that. And what I'm going to show is the proper way to do that. Now, I'll point out the wave 2 setups as we go along here, but this video is only going to concentrate on the wave 5 setups. The wave 2 setups will be the subject of another video. Now, also remember that this trading day actually was a trading day when we had the non-farm payroll report that was released. That comes out at 8:30 a.m. Eastern, 5:30 Pacific. We're on the West Coast here, so this is when the report was released. And you really can't trade anything in the first couple of minutes that report's being released, since it has a very severe effect on most markets. So typically, our rule is we like to wait 2 minutes once that report is released to have the market settle down. And the analysis I'm showing here, and it's a complete trading program, if all you traded were these wave 5 setups, you would see that you would be very successful every day from a profit standpoint. And I'm going to show, again, the preferred way. So roughly 3 minutes past the report, we did have the wave 5 initial setup here. The market attempted to go short, and that's based on this arrow. But as typically happens in some instances, the market's not done doing what it wants to do. So what's important then is this cyan band is drawn. And the importance of the band is you don't want to fight the tide. You don't want to fight the super wind. You want to go with the trade. So everybody's instructed, and the rule here is that once we break above the cyan band, that's a long trade. Now you can combine that with this bar color being blue, which is part of the Oracle Seer, or some traders will just basically ignore the bar color and take the trade as it goes through the band. And the reason for that is these bands are not very wide. This is only 4 ticks, and that amounts to basically about a $25 stop. With slippage, it's closer to about 31, 32. Not much on a contract that can yield a large amount, as I'm going to show here in a minute. So the initial trade was short. It got hit on the stop. The trade then reverses above the cyan band, and the market never looked back. It continued to move up and had a very nice profit here, roughly about 15 or 18 to 1 as far as what the reward to the risk would be here. I'm going to show instances where it travels back down through the cyan band, and when it does that, that's going to be short. But again, the general rule is once we have the wave 5, this is the initial trade. If we go above the band, it's going to be long. Below the band, it'll be short. We never did get back below the band again, and the long trade just continued. That then brought us about 8 minutes into the session after the report. And at that time, we had another wave 5 setup that occurred right here. So this trade off the setup was a nice short trade that yielded a pretty good profit. As you can see, we came right down to our wave 6 retracement target. The software produces all of those targets based on all of the data that's on the chart. And this is what I wanted to point out now. So very nice scalp trade and a fairly decent medium-sized runner if you had a second contract. And then as we moved back up through the band, as our rules indicate, that would be a long trade. All right. Unfortunately, this trade didn't go very far. It actually then built from a wave 5 to a confirmed wave 7. The long trade, as we came back down through here, it got stopped out, but then notice what happened. As we came down and got stopped out, the trade then switched to short, and it never ever took this level out again. The short trade initially had a very nice impulse wave down here, but if you're managing this properly, it never came back above the band. Hopefully you were in another runner, and that market just continued to sell off a tremendous amount, taking us basically through the first half hour of trading. And again, I think you can see the large reward to risk here on these trade setups if they're traded the proper way. Let's show the continuing example here as we continue to trade through the session. All right, the euro continued to trade, and as we got about an hour and a half into the session after the news release, again, you had pretty much a perfect Gann Elliot Wave 5 trade setup right here. This was the short entry. If some of you are wondering what the entry was back here, again, that's the Wave 2 entry, but that's going to be the subject of a different video. We're only concentrating on the Wave 5 setups, which are a complete trading approach by themselves that allows the trader to follow 3 or 4 or 5 different markets and just cherry pick these trade setups as they occur. So again, this was the short trade here. This was a monstrous trade as we pulled down, and I'm going to then comment about what happened down here. So just a huge trade. Again, we had the cyan band. If the market had traded above that band, then it would have been a flip to long, but of course it didn't. And this is always nice when it just really hits the harmonic wave 5 perfectly. So then we continued down, and we actually were able to complete at least a wave 5 on the down move. Just as I showed in the previous examples, this was the purported long entry here. Didn't amount to anything. You had your cyan band here. As we came through the cyan band, the entry was short. Now in this example as well, I didn't get to point this out because it didn't happen prior to that, but once it's in a short position, as the case is here, in other words, we're trading below the cyan band, it does not matter anymore what trade setup arrows occur. Those are to be ignored, and the best way to continue to trade this is just to manage it as it drops. So I think you can see once the flip was taken to short, this market pretty much collapsed to the downside and moved down a significant amount. This was just the reward to risk on this trade alone was closer to about 30 or 40 to 1. And again, that's the power of trading these wave 5s if they're traded the proper way with the cyan band. Let me show one more Wave 5 trade setup. This basically kind of brings us within 2 hours then of the release of the report. I think prior to this, if my memory serves me correct, we had 3 other very nice Wave 5 football setups. That's what we call them, the football, because they look like a football. But again, this was the Wave 5 after a very nice move to the upside. The initial trade was short for a very nice little profit. We actually came down all the way to the Wave 1 impulse trade, and this was the Wave 6 retrace target. So we pretty much came right into those. We then traveled through the cyan band, as I indicated. That's a long entry through the cyan band. And the band is set to, in this case, stop drawing after 100 bars. Some traders expand that out a little bit further. But the important part is this would have been the stop level as we came through here. That market held and continued to move up for continued profits. So again, I think you can see the clarity and the power of trading these Wave 5 setups. Most, if not all, and my experience has been 95% of these Wave 5 Gann Elliot football setups turn out to be profitable. Now, that doesn't mean that 95% of the trades are profitable, but if you trade it the way we show it here, the ultimate trade is going to be profitable by the time that the cyan band ends up drawing. And so what I meant by that was you had a nice initial short trade here, and you had a very nice long trade here, and the cyan band stopped drawing. And again, if you were managing it because it never came back, you would continue to pull in some more managed profit. If I go back to the previous Wave 5 trade setup, this is even more striking in that, again, the first trade was not a profitable trade. It got stopped out for probably 6 or 7 ticks, but then the reversal trade through was just a gigantic, very big trade. And again, if you just trade it the way it's designed, you're going to see that if when you put these on your charts, if you have the software, whether you're a member or whether you have a trial, or whether maybe you're just in one of our trade analysis rooms or workshops following along, you're going to see that every one of these setups, 95%, by the time they get done drawing and you're managing the trade, produce very nice profits. So there you have it. I want to thank everybody for watching. I'm going to put the website up here if anybody's interested in getting more information on this. You can also contact me, ask us about our 3-month special starter package that we have now. Our membership prices just tripled because of the power of this trading approach. But we do have what's called our 3-month new member starter package. So if you're interested, ask me about it. We'll give you the details. Let me go ahead and put the website up here so that if you're interested, you can contact us. All right, here's our contact page. If you go to high%trading.com, if you click on contact us, you can go ahead and contact us here. Request more information. Request a free trial if you like. If you haven't had a trial yet, just click on the free trial. And you're going to be able to do that as well. But again, if you want more information on how you can become a member now, it's best just to go through the contact page, just briefly fill it out, and we'll respond back to you the same day. So again, thanks for watching. I hope this gave some clarity to how we like to at least trade the Wave 5 combined Gann-Elliot combinations, and how if you trade them in that method, you can pretty much bring your trading profitability to over 90% once you complete the cyan band. So again, everybody, thanks for watching, and we hope to see some of you or hear from some of you soon. Thanks again. Bye now.